Yo, my people, we back. We back at it. The football bias. Another upload. I'm joined with my brothers today. Shingai, Thizo. Shingai, it's been a minute, man. You made your debut, then you absconded. What happened, bro?
Sorry, bro. Life happened, my nigga. Are we allowed to say
Aye,
nigga on here?
aye, bro. You can say whatever you want, bro. If they
Oh,
take it down, they take it down, man. So yeah, before we jump straight into it, man, shout out to the people. We see the views, we see the subscribers. Little Nyana, I think we're on like nearly 40 subscribers the last time. So that's 40 people, man, that fuck
Yes,
with us.
sir.
So I don't know,
shout out.
man. 40 is min though. Shit, man. Let's get the numbers up, man. Guys,
It's a
share
start.
the
It's a
thing.
start, boys.
Share the thing,
It's a
man.
start.
Shout out, man. So yeah, you guys don't actually know the topics for this week. I didn't really have a serious topic. I just some things that piqued my interest. And the first thing I wanted to get into was I don't know if you guys were watching the Champions League, obviously. Before we get into like the draw and everything, there's something that was going on with PSG that was just struck my mind because they had a poor performance against Newcastle, had a poor performance in the last game against Dortmund, had a poor performance over the weekend where they nearly won 1-0, and then who were they playing? Whoever I think they were playing Lille. They scored in the last
Deal.
minute. And then there was some I don't know, like headlines coming out with Luis Enrique. So I just want to read out some excerpts, which is going to feed into what I want to get into. So then he's like, Kylian will play wherever he decides. He's free to enter or stay on the side or take the inside or the outside. Then he goes on to say, why play Mbappe in the center rather than on the left side? No. Kylian will play wherever he decides. He has total freedom to play inside or outside. We balance our positions. Is he frustrated? Ask him. You have more power over this than me. So I want to understand, when you listen to these words, is he calling out Kylian for something? Because we've heard this whole positional thing. Just want to get into that. This whole positional thing. He doesn't think he's a striker. Is he a left winger? So he's basically saying, yo, this guy does whatever he wants, and we fold, we bend over backwards to accommodate him. Do you think this is good? Do you think this will feed into PSG eventually winning that elusive Champions League? And just around Kylian, because I want to get into this, will feed into the chat I want to have about Kylian Mbappe. But just from those words from his coach saying this to like the public media, what do you make of it all? Yeah, Thizo, I'll come to you first.
Sure. I think the first point that he's trying to make is that the media has a large influence on modern day sports as a whole, not even just football. I think because we're so into football, we pick up on a lot of like the influence there, but we see it in like a lot of press conferences that coaches are having. They're just like, they're almost combative with the media, because it's like you guys are going to sell your own narrative anyway. Even that exit that we're getting there is from the media, so they snip videos, and they'll always phrase it in a way that like is more likely to get people interested and to get people talking about it, which can be frustrating when you're not only like trying to win things, but you're also trying to manage the egos of like all these soccer players. I think with regards to Kylian's role, it's not something that's unique to Kylian. I think I can't even remember the footballer that I heard speaking about this recently, but he was talking about how it was Aaron Lennon was speaking about how all modern day wingers are actually strikers, and that's why goals are such a big deal now. Because it's just like they want to get their numbers by virtue of them being strikers, and we see this going all the way back to like Ronaldo was a winger once upon a time, but you can't really say CR7 is an out and out winger. I think we're just seeing that more and more as time is going, and Kylian falls into that exact same bracket. With regards to his talent, it warrants him freedom to do that. I think we saw in the final of the last World Cup where even if things aren't going well, if Kylian decides that he's going to turn it on, then you're more likely to be in the fight, not necessarily that you're going to win. And I say that in response to you saying, is that how they're going to get that elusive Champions League? I think you saw it even in the game against Dortmund, where when he wants to like really push the envelope and get PSG there, they're more likely to get there. Versus if you're going to like try and try and tell him that Kylian, play this role, play on the wing, don't cut in, don't do this, and take away from that freedom that he enjoys, that makes him into the player that he is, he's probably not going to be the same. So for me, not really much in there.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and then the reason why I bring this up is because I want to understand, or I want us to understand, has this guy reached his potential? Is Kylian Mbappe the guy that we think he is? Or do we think that, no, man, this guy, he came into the scene with Monaco, went to PSG, won the World Cup, have things sort of just staled over? Because now he's reaching into late 20s, still no Champions League, no Ballon d'Or, things we expected him to have at this stage in career. So now it's all about, it's a money grab. So now, Shingai, do you think it's all a money grab? Do you think that's just where the state of football is right now? And do you think, in terms of Kylian, will we see that player that we think like, yo, this guy can do all the things that we think he can? Does he need to go to Madrid to do that? Or is the era of like dominance, like one player dominating football, is that era just like dead and gone now? That there's just no player that can have the type of consistency and numbers and dedication and just like downright fight to just go for everything? Is that type of dominant era like just done? Should not expect such things anymore?
I think it's a wrap, bro. And first of all, that it's a wrap with the dominant players, and also with Kylian. I don't think there's anything more. Maybe Madrid will be able to push him to the next level, but in general, I don't think there's much left from him, and he is just coming to grab money. Also, just on Thizo's point, I don't agree with Thizo. I think that's a loaded comment from even when you had at the end there. I think he's frustrated that he feels like Kylian is just calling all the shots there. He gets to ask for this and that. Like the way that I understood that quote was a lot of frustration. As much as like what Thizo was saying, the era of like the wingers and stuff like that, these guys like Salah, they pop up in the box and all that. But it sounded to me like Enrique was whining, bro. I don't know. How did you see? Did you not see?
That's what I thought as well. That's what I thought as well. I thought, because think about it, because with PSG, you just lose one, not even one, draw 2 games in a row, which is what happened. And now it's like meltdowns. It's like, yo, what's going on? The French media are like, yo, my guy, what's going on? You made it out of the Champions League group, but you stumbled over. Then you go in the league where you're supposed to run riot in the league, minimum 30 wins, 5 draws, not even 3 losses that they can take. You need to like just wrap that league up nice and quick, So now it's like questions are being asked. And he's like, yo, I'm here, I'm doing my thing. And I need to cater to this guy, whereby this guy, I'll play him in a position. He won't play that position. He says he's not a number 9, but then during the game, he's in a number 9 position. So when I can't play Gonzalo Ramos. I got Gonzalo Ramos from Benfica, a young striker. He's a number 9. He's not going to play on the wing to accommodate Mbappe. He's a number 9. So now I am stifling his growth. I'm stifling his development in my team because of Kylian, where I play him. Now I'm playing with effectively 2 strikers that won't track back if I'm playing Ramos. So it all feeds into like the frustration that I get. Like that's what I got from reading that. I got frustration, and I got a coach who's like, yo, I'm trying with these players, but there's a hindrance here. And I feel like he's even trying to show the board, like, guys, let's get this guy out. We can be much better if we get this guy out. We can get, I won't say we get a better player. We might get a better team to make what we want. Because Mbappe, bro, I don't know what it is, man. I feel like he's an amazing player. I feel like there's a lot more he could be doing, he could be giving. But there's just something, whether it's his scope, whether it's his like maturity, whereby he feels it's like so much greater. Gives me Zlatan vibes. I'm basing this on what I'm watching. When I watch PSG, when I watch how they play, how the other players are frustrated. They were, even in the summer, there was players who played within PSG coming out saying stuff like this. So it's feeding into the narrative whereby now almost 6 months into this season, this narrative is still going on and on and on. And now the coach is also saying these things coming out. And I hear what you're saying, but like this has been something that has been in the offing, happening throughout many press conferences. Hence why I picked up on it. And I wanted to say, like, man, what's going on with this Mbappe guy? Is something happening there? And,
No Ballon
and
d'Ors, but
they,
big
no,
brand.
nothing.
they've literally. Pardon?
No, I'm saying it's
What
a
is
big
that little
brand.
comment? I want to respond to all of this collectively.
Okay, for first of all, what we were saying just now was that Luis Enrique's quote. I disagree with how you read it. Right? To me, there's a lot of frustration there. You're saying it's just this. That's the first
Yes.
point. Now we just led into the fact that he's asking, do I think he's reached a ceiling? And I've always been saying that guy, very talented, bro, but he ain't him. Like he ain't him in the way that people want him to be with the Messi Ronaldo thing. You know what I mean? Which is fine. It's okay. Not many players can get there. But you're telling me one Ballon d'Or, bro, at this point. We can point at all the things he's done. I'm a France fan. Done a lot for the country, right? But that's where it ends. Like he's not going to get anywhere else, the way I see it.
Yeah, but I struggle to understand why we're putting like PSG's failure on him.
No.
Because prior to
That's where you're getting it wrong.
let me make the point. Prior to Mbappe becoming a fixture in PSG, right? Prior to PSG becoming his team, Neymar was there, right? And he didn't do anything with PSG, right?
Yeah.
Was there a progression or a regression for PSG since Mbappe came in?
Yeah, but you see, this why I didn't know this wasn't a chat about PSG winning or not winning on Mbappe's or on Mbappe's.
But that's what we're basing it on. Though we're basing it on Mbappe because when I ask where's that coming from, like you go and even the game this weekend, who scored for PSG? Mbappe. More often than not, who scores for PSG? You still have to score it, and we've seen a lot of examples where penalties don't get scored.
No, like, but granted,
we can't downplay we can't downplay penalties.
I'm not downplaying the penalty. What I'm downplaying is that
when I said he scored, your rebuttal to that was it's a penalty.
Yeah, because he should be doing more. You playing in a super team. You expect more, bro. This is Ligue 1. With all due respect, this is Ligue 1. They should be doing more.
How is it a super team? How is it a super team?
How is it a super team? But the amount of money that they've spent on the team.
Yeah, but we shouldn't base it on money because that means United is a super team because of how much money has been spent.
They should be, and they get criticized for not. They should be a super team because of the money they spend.
Actual players that are playing there. No, what we also need to
take this far. Firstly, let's not take this far. I'm asking one question.
I'm asking one question. You made the example of Goncalo Ramos,
yes,
right? And he's not even he's not in the starting 11 when everyone is fit.
But that's the point. How is he going to get? How does he get into the starting 11 when he's a number 9? Listen to the point, Thizo. Listen to how we started. Let's wait before you continue.
I get the point that you're making, but like we're talking about backup. Because
he's not a backup. You're not buying a backup for 80 million. You're not buying a backup for 80 mil.
Why not? It's PSG. You have the luxury of doing it. They also brought in Randall Kolo Muani, right?
Tizo, bro.
Who's a number 9 as well.
No, Kolo Muani, if you look at him, he's not a bona fide number 9. He can play across the front line. The bona fide number 9 they brought there.
That is why in the picking order, he is higher than Goncalo Ramos because in the way the team is set up, he plays better in that system where you're going to have a winger that's interchangeable. Where you have a player like Mbappe who's going to cut.
I hear what you say. I just feel like you're being a Mbappe fanboy a bit too much. You're not grasping what I'm trying to say. You're not grasping what I'm trying to say. What I'm also trying to say. What I'm also trying to say is like, bro, we need to be honest to say you can't tell me confidently, look me in my eyes, that he has reached the ceiling at this stage in his career where we thought he's supposed to be at. Barring the World Cup win, the performance in the World Cup. I struggle to see where this guy has lit up the performances like that, barring the World Cups. And in the World Cups, where he's playing in a system that is, I wouldn't say catered to him, in a system whereby he can afford to be free roaming because all the other people there have their roles. In PSG, it's not the same. It's not the same thing, bro. And also in PSG, nobody can argue with Mbappe. In France, when Mbappe is on his wild stuff, people can be like, yo, my nigga, shut the fuck up. You can't tell me this. Not at PSG. At PSG, he's walking Messiah.
Like when he's the skipper at France.
Yeah, but they have chats, bro. There was the time with the Giroud and the Benzema comments. People tell this guy nonsense there in France. He's not just going to get away with anything. At PSG, you can see with your own eyes. This guy is Messiah. He gets the buys. He probably hires and fires the chefs. He gets the cleaners. God there by
Nah,
PSG, bro.
That's exactly
That's what coach
what the
is
media
crying
is
about.
doing. Like
That's exactly what
you've
Enrique is
got a
crying
the
about.
narrative that
media.
is built
That's
up.
what
Let's
Enrique
not
is
blame
You've
crying
got a
about.
narrative that is built
Let's
up,
not blame
and
the
you're just
media.
feeding into that narrative, like going as far as saying I hires and fires chefs.
Obviously,
Narrative based.
I'm being hyperbolic,
You're
bro.
asking me to be objective about a conversation that you're not being objective about. I'm
No, I
saying
am being
let's
objective.
not base it because how are you being objective?
I'm being objective in the sense that I'm trying to say that I hear what you were saying, right? And I'm not disagreeing with what you were saying. However, I feel like you and I are arguing two different points. That's what I'm trying to say to you, is that we are arguing two different things. I'm not trying to get into the nitty-gritties of the PSG system and everything. I use the Gonzalo Ramos example just to say that they bought a striker for 80, 90 million because they want to play the striker. So now, because they have a player that he decides at which in the game, even not even prior to the game, in game, he decides that, nah, I'm not going to play number 9 now. This 10 minutes, I'm going to go on the wing. Now, actually, man, on the wing, that defender's kicking me. I'm going to go on the right. And when you watch the game, Thizo, I'm going to say, I sat down because I put money on it. I always watch games and I put money on it. I watched PSG, bro, and I saw that these guys are playing like this because there's a player in the team that does not act like this is a team. And it happens where, like you said, he decides when to turn it on. If he doesn't want to turn it on, more often than not, PSG are not turning it on. So the entire balance of the team, whether they win, lose, draw, or anything, is hindrance on one man. And that team is way too good, has way too many good players for it to be hindered on one man. That's all I'm just trying to say.
When? Because you look at look at the chances, right? That PSG miss. You say you watch PSG. I also watch PSG.
Yes.
Right? Look at the chances that he provides to others, right? Like, literally, guys are missing chances. If he doesn't stick the chance away.
He misses two.
At least he scores. At least he scores.
Bro, if you're going to hog 90% of the chances, you're going to score. It's just basic math.
No ways.
It's just basic math.
Bro, that is so crazy because these guys spend so many chances. You look at the game against Dortmund, right? Where he's laying things off. There was the game against Newcastle where they got that contentious penalty at the end. Bradley Barcola missed like 2 clear-cut chances, not hard chances, just stick it away. It's simple chances that if you're starting in PSG, you should be putting away, right? But when the results don't go their way, it's on Mbappe. For me, it's if we're going to put everything on you in terms of the success and failure of this team is on you. If this team does well, you'll get all the plaudits, right? But in the exact same breath, if the team does terribly, it's on you too. Then, of course, he's going to put it on himself and he's going to say, let me be the one to step up and take this. Because when he tries, and we've seen like a lot of examples of this, when he tries to share the opportunities, guys don't step up. So it's just like, what am I supposed to do? And that isn't limited to just PSG. France is another example where we saw he scores a hat-trick. Randall Colomowani has the chance to win France the World Cup, right? One-on-one with the keeper.
You're really making Mbappe. Can I tell you something?
Bro,
when you're like Mbappe, you can't expect your colleagues to be. Let's change topic.
It's fine. Let's change topic. It's cool because like finish your point.
Now, I was gonna say, obviously, if you're the top player, you're gonna be scoring their hat tricks, and some of your teammates are gonna be missing more chances. It just is what to be expected. So you can't even be surprised with that, if we're being honest. But the whole point is, I just feel like Mbappe, and I knew this from a while ago. I could tell that boy ain't got that dog in him. Do you know what I mean? Like overall, to be as big as people thought it would be. And we're talking about expectation. We cannot run away from expectation. Just like Neymar. I remember me and Thizo had this chat about Neymar, where he's like, I'm like, bro, this guy did not reach his potential from what we expected. And I'm like, no, who decides the potential? I thought, bro, we can tell when somebody's supposed to be like a big star. The Neymars and Mbappes don't come very often. And those guys just ain't take it to the level that you expected to. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
The reason why I feel is because it's all in the corpse, bro. And all these facets and factors that Thizo's trying to bring up, I hear all that. But if his corp was just 50% much better, bro. I really feel his potential might have been higher. Like the money grabs, he could have went to Madrid when he had the chance. Like everything just points to this guy just being like so in his head, like, yo, I'm the guy. Fuck that. Nah, niggas say I must go to Madrid to win a Champions League. Nah, I'm gonna do it here. Nah. He just seems like the guy. When people say nah, he's like, nah, just wants to double down. And it's a team sport, bro. Football is not like other games, bro. It's the most ultimate team game whereby you cannot win alone, bro. In this game, you cannot, though. No matter how good you are. Even Alan Shearer scored how many goals with one Premier League title? You can't do it all alone, bro. It's just how it is. But let's move on, man. From talking dominance of or whatever dominance of one player, there's been a topic that was trending on Twitter about Mamelodi Sundowns, about how they're running away with the league. I don't know if you've seen, they've won 11 out of 11. They have a 7-point lead with 3 games in hand. It's just mad. And then, so I want to understand, do you guys think it's a good thing? Let me start with you, Darama. I think this guy's frozen. I want to understand from you, do you think it's a good thing that Sundowns are just like, yo, they're running away with this. They like basically making a mockery of the game, in my opinion. And then people are coming with the arguments that no, Juve were winning 10 out of 11 leagues in their prime. There was a time where Barca were winning like 8 out of 10 leagues in their time. Even Man City now are dominating to that level, maybe not to like that. So do you think it's just a thing of like, yo, they are the team of this era? It is what it is. Or is there anything that's like feeding into like some sort of negativity or anything like that you might think feeds into like the how poor South African football is, what I'm trying to say?
I don't think it's a good thing, bro. I don't think it's a good thing at all. I think it's a good thing that the quality is so high, right? It seems, and for me, the quality isn't even that high, actually, if we're keeping it 100. It's just like everything else is so low, which I don't think is a good thing. And I actually think that the dominance is exposing just how poor local football is, you know, because they're dominating without even being that great. So what does it say about the rest of the league? You know, and you never really want to see a team dominating that much. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. So for me, it's a concern.
I'd have to agree with you with that, because I feel like it's probably a good thing that they're flying the nation high, because Sundowns is like a big brand now, you know, with the Rock Nation deal, you know, they're about to get I saw yesterday, they doing the FIFA doing like the efficient points, what thingy, because they're going to revamp the Club World Cup. So Sundowns might be one of the clubs in the next installation of the Club World Cup to play in that competition. So that's just bigger exposure for that team. And also there's players in South Africa, South African players in Sundowns that are getting contracts or getting moves to play in like international leagues, you know, like the MLS and all these things. So I feel it's a good thing from that point of view. But man, when I'm just watching, because sometimes I like watch sometimes the games. And when you watch Sundowns, bro, like before these guys even step on the pitch, it's like the game is even won. I just don't get it. And even now, like, because their squad is so big, when you literally just look at the squad, because usually sometimes they'll drop the full squad, not the starting lineup. They drop the keepers, defenders, everybody that's going into the next game. And you look at that team, you're like, oh, hey man, this team is proper. You know, there's even now they rumored about to sign some kid from Argentina. I won't say kid, maybe like mid-20s. So he might not even be that good there. But then he's coming here and he's just like, he might kill shit on another level. And that just feeds into the dominance of this club. Do you think it's up to Thizo? Do you think it's just up to other clubs to just wake up, smell the coffee, and, you know, basically move like they move, if possible, because, you know, like you're batting with a billionaire now here with Patrice Motsepe? Or do you just think like, yo, Sundowns is just doing their things, let's leave them, dominant team is a dominant team, congratulations, and let it be?
I think it's not just about the money. I think it's easy to say it's Patrice Motsepe and all his money. But I think the club is just well run, bro. Like they're a well run club. Their talent ID is top tier. Like these guys just play good foot. Like they're too good for the PSL. They're way too good for it doesn't matter. Like they're so far ahead of the rest of the teams that like any efforts to try and catch up is just, you're doing it for yourself. Like you're basically chasing to be second. They're not going to beat Sundowns in the next 5-10 years. Like, no one is going to get. It's going to take too long, and like there isn't any element of complacency to Sundowns. I remember 2 seasons ago they were like a good 5-7 games behind the rest of the league, but they were still in the top 3. So imagine you haven't played like 5-7 games, but you're still top 3 in the league. And it's a foregone conclusion that when you play those games, you're gonna win an overwhelming majority of them. Like, that isn't gonna change, bro. They've set the standard this year, and they beat their rivals. Like, that's the thing. We see it in English as well, in the English Premier League as well, where it's like, just like, if you're able to beat the teams in and around you, you're in the conversation, right? That's not happening in South Africa. You're not having a Pirates beating a Sundowns. You're not having a Chiefs beating a Sundowns. You know, you're not having like Super Sports beating a Sundowns. And if they do, it's like once. I think Super Sports has beat Sundowns once in the past 3 seasons. You get what I'm saying? Like, no one is close. And that's like, it's about more than just money for them. Because yes, they have a massive squad. But when you look at the squad that they actually put out, it's not like they put out a different squad every single week. You know, so they're making sure that if someone does go down, right, there's someone that's more than capable that's able to step in. And like, bro, they're just so great at, and players step up a level, bro. I don't know if you've seen Sipho Kambule. Like, bro, it's a maza. And I think that's going to translate in like Bafana's talent ID, because it's almost like Sundowns is doing the work for them.
Yeah,
it's just like showing you that this is the talent that you have in the country. If you play them the right way, right, I think we'll become a better, like a more competitive team globally.
I just feel like the thing I don't like is like, it's like Sundowns is like a feeder, like you're saying now. Because if you're playing for Sundowns, it's automatically has to be assumed that you're one of the best players in the country. You understand? Because even when you look at, I don't know if you saw like the preliminary squad that Hugo Broos named for Bafana. Like, it's stocked full of Mamelodi Sundowns players, you know what I mean? And some of them don't even like play like a large amount of game time, but they're still there because by virtue of, it's like, it's giving like England vibes of like yesteryear, where if you're playing for United,
but they top,
yeah, they top. So it's fair. I'm not disagreeing. Like, they are good, bro. Like, they're very good. They're better than all of us. So I just feel like it's really like Shingai saying, it's feeding into the narrative of like South African football not being the best, man. But I think just to move on and wrap it up, since we had 3 Gunners here, we got a big game ahead on the weekend. But a big game ahead in the weekend. So before time cuts us out, Shingai, one question for you. If one team was to lose, or let me say, which team can afford to lose but still keep their title aspirations going on? Because I have an opinion on that. So I just want to hear what you think.
Which team can afford to lose and keep the title? Eish, that's a tough one, bro. I really think Arsenal can't afford to lose this game, personally. Like, it's just, I was looking at the 2 games that we lost away to Newcastle, away to Villa. Losing away to Liverpool will be a big, big moral blow. You know, I'm still haunted by last season, that 2-0 up, and then they came back. For me, that was a big, big turning point, you know, in the season. And it, like, I felt invincible until that point, you know. So I would say, which team? I mean, I guess we can afford more to lose than them, technically speaking, but I don't even think that they're title contenders personally. So, like, I would say that Arsenal can't afford to lose this game.
I'm agree with you. However, I just personally think that Arsenal can afford to lose it, and it wouldn't significantly dent our title aspirations, because it's Liverpool away, it's Anfield. Look at the record that we've had at Anfield. Even last season, we had a really good chance of winning. Even the season before that, before Arteta started fighting with Klopp. You know what I mean? Like, we can win, but I just personally feel like going to Anfield and losing, like, that happens to nearly everyone in the season. I don't feel it's a significant dent. However, for Liverpool to lose at home to Arsenal, knowing they have to go to Emirates in a few weeks, and with Thomas Partey coming back, with Tomiyasu, who might be back in that game, I feel like they can't afford to lose it. And especially now when they don't have McAllister, might not have Gravenberg, their front line is looking a bit flimsy right now. All of a sudden, it was looking so strong. Now it's looking a bit shaky. The fans are crying.
Would you say that they're serious title contenders?
No,
Because
they
I
have
mean,
to
for
be
me,
serious. They have to be serious
you.
when you look at the position.
I
The
do. I
reason why,
do.
because when you look at the position and you look at the know-how, look at the squad,
Oh.
right? You just have to put them there. It's just it mathematically makes sense. The same way with Villa. I personally wouldn't say that they title contenders, but if they win this weekend, they go top at Christmas. And it's
Yeah,
very disingenuous to not say they title contenders if you top at Christmas.
I don't see title contenders just based on league position, bro. Like for me, it's like I don't see Villa. If Villa even worse. So, but anyway, I'm not gonna drag on this. But even Villa even worse so because
Yeah, but
I just don't see them. I don't see them as
but
contending for.
in my opinion, you're a title contender till you're not, until you're not in a position to do so. So right now, you're in a position, like same thing with Arsenal. Last season, I never felt we were title contenders up until probably like January, February. That's when I was like, yo, we're still here. We are title contenders. Nobody thought we're title contenders. But if you're in that position, mathematically, you have to be considered. It's just a fact, you know. So Thizo, do you also share the same sentiment? Because I just feel like Anfield, the Cobb, like you literally like losing there, it's like no skin off your teeth. The same thing with Villa, like we discussed last time. If Arsenal go to Villa and win, Villa can be like, yo, okay, cool, whatever, let's move. But if Arsenal go to lose, it's like, do you see it was like, yo, it looked like a bit shaky. So that's just the same vantage point I'm coming from. But what do you think so far?
Yeah, I definitely think that Arsenal can afford to lose the game and still be in the title conversation. I think that it's not a game that Liverpool want to lose or can afford to lose, right? Because if you start losing that invincibility that's around Anfield, right? Being, yeah, you can beat Liverpool at your stadium, but are you going to be able to take 3 points or take anything, from Anfield? And more often than not, the answer to that has been no, particularly in the case of Arsenal. So if you now lose that, right, they're ahead of you in the league. You're now chasing them, and they've beat you at Anfield, knowing very well you have to go to them, like to the Emirates, where they beat you comfortably last season. In a few weeks, Liverpool can't afford to lose the game, but I think they will. Just a side note.
Okay, last question
Nice
before I
one,
get
not
it,
bad.
before I get your predictions. And I want you guys to answer at the same time, right? In 3 seconds, I give you a draw right now. Are you taking it? 3, 2, 1.
No.
Yeah.
Shingai, why are you taking the draw?
I mean, for the reasons you mentioned, bro. For the reason both of you guys mentioned about the fact that it's always been a fortress. It's a tricky one. You're a little bit anxious. I'd take a draw any day of the week. Obviously, there's an element of confidence because we're hard. So I'm going there expecting to win. Yeah, I'm saying I'm going there expecting to win, but I know we can lose. I know we can draw, and I mean, draw being in the middle. It's not what I want. It's not what I want. I want to win. But if we got a draw, bro, we move on to the next game.
Thizo, why are you not taking a draw, bro?
We have a lot more of our squad than they do of theirs. We're playing a lot more fluid now than they are. I think if we're talking about we're in the same kind of form and we have the same number of players available, and when the same period in the project, I think Liverpool have just rebuilt their entire midfield. Their front line, they're still kind of trying to figure out, ideally who's their starting front three. We don't have those kind of issues, right? So we shouldn't be comfortable with even being head to head with Liverpool. Like, we're further ahead in our project. We're not struggling with injuries where we're trying to kind of makeshift. In most seasons, we don't have like a Thomas Partey for these big games, but we have a Declan Rice. Like, why aren't we beating them? We have Saliba's fit, Gabriel's fit. Like, bro, we have Ben White. Fair enough, we have Zinchenko, but if we ignore the last 10
That's
minutes
the reason.
of the
That's
game
the
against
reason.
Liverpool, Zinchenko didn't have a bad game, right?
That's the
And
reason.
now we've grown from that too, right? Where there isn't that naivety of we're gonna out attack the team. You can see the solidity. We're a bit more aware of the defensive frailty there is with Zinchenko, and that's why you're seeing
You can't just
even
brush
the goal we
that aside.
considered.
Yeah, this guy's just trying to brush aside it.
Brush past the Zinchenko. You can't just brush. Just you got Zinchenko.
I'm still building into it. Like I'm still making a point. I'm saying that, like, for what he gives you, right? As much as yes, there's a defensive frailty. For what he gives you in terms of being able to control the bro. When we're restricting, do you know that we've restricted City, Brighton, Newcastle to one shot? That's also in part while Zinchenko's in the team.
But so Tomiyasu was there for some. Tomiyasu was there for some.
Yeah, for some, not for all. But it's also because we're aware. We're aware of there's a defensive frailty on that side, but also like
on Salah's side.
On Salah's side. Salah and Trent side.
Bro, look, I say right now, based on all those factors, give me, because as much as we have Zinchenko, they have Trent. Did you see Trent getting rinsed by Anthony? Okay, and you want to give that boy to Martinelli?
Okay,
that's had him on toast 2 seasons in a row.
Okay, Thizo.
I'm not taking a draw. I'm not taking a draw.
All right, bro. I'm with you. Bro. I need them 3 points.
Again, Holiday.
All right, I'm with you, bro. I'm going with you. Give me your predictions, bro. We got less than a minute. Give me your prediction.
2-0 for me.
You're saying 2-0. Thizo's going 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-1. I think we'll snatch it at the death again. I think we'll snatch it at the death somehow. Either Saliba or Gabriel header. Just a snatch at the end. At the cop. Celebrating at the cop end. And just those fans doing this. All right, anyways, gentlemen, before it cuts us, man, I appreciate the chat. Everybody keep liking, subscribing. We'll be back again with the next upload. And yeah, have a good one. Peace out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Have a good one, gents. Peace.
Cheers, boy.
Peace out, gents.